This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, hello. Wow, summer is actually, it's not yet officially summer. When the hell does it become summer? I think tomorrow or the next day, pretty soon. And a glorious, glorious summer. It's been, actually, let's face it, it starts right around Memorial Day. And I've been on a roll, a fitness roll, a great nutrition situation. I am taking a GLP. I guess that's what they call it, right? Zepbound. It is an injection. You know who recommended it to me? Well, 2 people. Todd Shapiro. He told me about it, and he's a great PR man in New York. But I didn't take his advice. I'm like, I'm going to lose the weight through diet and exercise. 2 months later, I was 1.5 pounds heavier than before my diet and exercise campaign. And then I actually ran into, of all people, Patrick McEnroe, the tennis player, championship tennis player, happens to be the brother of John McEnroe, another championship tennis player. He told me about Zepbound, and I got on it, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Sometimes I burp more than I want to. Sometimes I'd say once every 10 days, I am gripped by a wave of nausea, right? It lasts for about 10 to 15 minutes. I attribute it to the Zepbound, but who knows? It could be something else. But it pretty much happens every week, usually on a Saturday. And I take the injection on a Saturday. So there could be a correlation. Could be a correlation. A couple of things we have to tackle here. The lies of Fauci. I mean, just to remind everybody, right? Let's go to Maze Moore, the great internet aggregator. Fauci funded the research that almost certainly led to the pandemic. He then lied about it under oath and spent over 2 years trying to make people believe that COVID occurred naturally. And guess what? He desperately needed a pardon. That's why and I'm going to have more on that in a moment. The great Nick Shirley talking to Ed Martin at the Justice Department about a flailing Anthony Fauci desperately seeking a pardon. Let's go ahead with the Maze Moore clip, if you don't mind. Thank you.
The NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute.
We now know that a bat coronavirus was enhanced in a lab. The National Institutes of Health acknowledged that it funded research of a virus that was studied at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The experiment unexpectedly, we're told, made a bat coronavirus more contagious than the original naturally occurring
Take
one.
an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about.
They took animal viruses that only occur in animals and they increased their transmissibility to humans. How you can say that is not gain of function?
It is not. What we're talking about now is the gain of function research in studies that increase predominantly the transmissibility as well as pathogenesis and alteration of host range of the virus. Somebody is lying here, Senator. It is you. I have to laugh at that. I should be prosecuted.
Oh, yes, you should be. Oh, yes. And he was worried sick about being prosecuted because he had what they call mensa rea. Is that what they call it? Mea reza? I don't know why these attorneys always come up with these Latin terms, but basically he had a guilty conscience and a guilty criminal intent. Here is the great Nick Shirley talking to Ed Martin, the Justice Department. He's a couple of things at the Justice Department. Number one, he's a patriot. Go ahead and hit me with that, all right?
You're the United States pardon attorney.
Yes, sir.
Just before Biden left office, literally a few hours before, he started signing a lot of pardons.
Correct.
One of those,
sort of. The AutoPen started signing a lot of pardons. Go ahead, yeah.
And one of those people was Anthony Fauci.
Yes.
What's the truth about
Well, look, I mean, one thing.
Anthony Fauci's pardon?
Well, one thing you started out, let me just explain to folks. The pardon power is in the Constitution, and it basically says, I'm summarizing, the president can pardon anybody he wants for any reason he wants. There's not a procedure set up. There's not a system. It's really the founders knew that there were times where you needed to write something that was wrong or do something you wanted, and that's what they gave them. So is that any president can pardon anybody. With regard to the end of a term, Biden was in a rush down the stretch, or his staff was, and they were pardoning all kinds of people. They did all kinds of commutations at the last minute, all with the AutoPen. The only signature on pardons that you see with a wet pen is Hunter Biden, which was signed at Thanksgiving. All the rest are AutoPen, which begs another question. But most importantly, you can see, and these are email exchanges where Dr. Fauci's lawyer is saying, will there be pardons for Fauci? And then in the morning of January 20th, and just in time for the change of the presidency, Fauci got his pardon. And you have to accept, under American law, the one thing the Supreme Court has said is you have to accept the pardon. So Fauci immediately had his lawyer say, I accept the pardon, and sent that in. So they were very aware that they needed that, and they wanted it.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that? I think it's very, very telling. Wow, Fauci quibbling about what gain of function research means. Gain of function. I know what it means, for crying out loud. I remember learning about that in biology. 10th grade. Mr. Truncali. 10th grade. I did very well in biology, by the way. Very, very well. The other thing we want to do here is... there's another little sequence here on the Fauci stuff. But, tonight I will actually bring together the documents that Tulsi Gabbard just outlined, and got to present them. We'll do it in an organized fashion, an entertaining fashion, and in a unique fashion that will reflect a fair amount of work. It takes work to actually go through these documents, highlight the relevant parts, and then present it in a way that is visually compelling. President Trump flying around on Air Force One. I guess this was on his way back from the G7, right? Hey, we have a new Air Force One with a new paint job? Go ahead, President Trump on the big plane.
President, you frequently criticize Joe Biden for not knowing what is going on in his name. This racist video that was posted on your social media.
I'm a hell of a lot better than you do. You don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. No, Joe Biden didn't have a clue, but we know everything. And when you look at what's happening with our economy, think of it, we're way years ahead of schedule. We have thousands and thousands of businesses being built right now. So Joe Biden had no clue. If Joe Biden were elected, or if Kamala were elected, we wouldn't have a country right now.
It's a passion project of his. And I don't blame him one bit. I don't. Imagine if a guy like Joe Biden, they officially said he beat you. Does anybody really believe that anymore? Do you believe it? Do you believe it, Irene? Uh-oh. Don't tell me you're going to tell me to go off my favorite drug. Hi.
No, just the opposite. You've encouraged me to try it. I've called the doctor, and I finally bit the bullet.
All right. Yeah, no, I had to do it too.
I haven't gotten it yet, but each time I called, I kept saying no, because I said, all right, if I go off it, I'm going to gain again. But I'm so disgusted, and after listening to you, I'm going to try it again.
Yeah, I hear you. I know my reluctance as well. Hey, let me ask you something. How many pounds do you want to lose?
30, 35.
Yeah, good for you. I think I want to lose 50. I've already lost 20. I think I want to go for another 30. And I want to be like one of those skinny guys. You know what I mean? That metrosexual guy, who wears the belt with the big H on it, preppy. And, but I do hear you got to stay on it forever. But I don't know.
How long has it taken you to lose the 20?
Let's see. I went on it on April 1st. So what is it now? 2 months. 2 months. A little over 2 months. Not bad,
Okay,
right?
all right.
And I think
Are you not hungry?
not really. No, I mean that's the thing. It really kind of messes with your head a little bit. I don't know how it works, but you're not hungry. You don't think about food. It's weird. I can go buy candy and not be interested in it. And I ate candy even when I wasn't hungry, but I just like actively don't want it. So it's very interesting. I encourage you to, I'm glad you checked with your doctor. What do I know about this stuff? So good luck and keep me posted, okay? I love it.
I feel nauseous.
All right. I only feel nauseous once or twice a week. It's not a big deal. It's worth it. All right. It's worth it. It goes away. I sit down, I deal with it, and it goes away. Sometimes your bowels will catch up to you. I don't want to mention the particularities, but you can probably guess. It's side effects are on the side of the bottle or whatever that thing is, but they're manageable. Do not be discouraged. All right. And let me know. Keep in touch. Thank you. Mike, you're in South Carolina. Hello.
Hello, Greg. I'm driving. I've been driving most of the day, 400 miles.
Where are you going?
I'm on the Atlantic City Expressway. I'm going to meet some friends down there and then go to, the old hood, Long Island. And had it Sunday, Father's Day. You've been gone 10 years and you're doing well. And you know what? Your words with your father are incredible. I was laughing. The guy before was Garden City, and I remember, a couple of weeks ago I mentioned that Bon Leo's and that nut job called from White Plains, whatever. Eat a nut job. But Greg, all the best and happy Father's Day. I have a daughter who just turned 36. My son is 31. Okay, he was a wide receiver at Cortland, and he's in law enforcement now, upstate. So I'm very proud. And I got two. My daughter's got two boys. My only two grandkids, me and Patty, my ex, we get along fine. Somebody take my ex, please. Rodney Dangerfield. No, just kidding. But Greg, you always show class on the radio, and I've mentioned you to friends down in Florida, also in South Carolina. Oh, I see him on TV. Yeah, that's him.
Well, thank you very much for the encouragement. My mother sometimes gets a little bit unnerved by the radio. She'd like me to show a little bit more class. I don't know. She's sometimes on the fence. Oh, sometimes, Gregory, you sound a little bit brutal. I don't know. But hey, thank you. Beautiful family you got going. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. On this Juneteenth, Steve, you want to say something about Juneteenth? Hello?
Hey, Greg. Yeah, I'm on board with you. This whole thing with Juneteenth is a bit misguided. If we really want to celebrate the official end of slavery in the United States, it came after Juneteenth, December 6, 1865, and the passing of the 13th Amendment. That ended it officially. There you go. And the man who single-handedly is responsible for it, Abraham Lincoln, unfortunately he didn't live to see it, but our win in the North's win in the Civil War started the gears in motion that led to the 13th Amendment. We used to celebrate his birthday on February 12th. So February 12th, December 6th, take your pick. Juneteenth, I agree with it. It's a nonsense holiday. It's misguided.
Well, one thing, though, the 13th Amendment, it's interesting. It's a great amendment, right? It ended slavery. However, people today see it. I'm not talking about leftist, woke lunatics. See the 13th Amendment as something that somehow justifies subjugation of black people. It's a very strange and warped interpretation. These are what they call the critical race theory theorists. They believe that everything is inherently racist in the Constitution and everything spawned thereof, and the 13th Amendment, they think, somehow justifies discrimination, when it doesn't, of course. It's just a perverted interpretation. Perverts. You know what we don't hear anymore, and we should? The word pervert, right? Because there are a lot more perverts today than there were, back in the day when you heard the word pervert. And by pervert, really, I'm talking about the drag queens who insist on hanging around children, and any public official like that crazy person, Brad Hoylman Siegel, quite frankly, any Democrat in the world, with the possible exception of Rahm Emanuel, embraces drag time story hour for children. And that makes you a pervert. All right? Absolutely, 100%. And the county executive where I am right now, Brad Hoylman Siegel, He says, I've been taking my own daughters to Drag Time Story Hour for Children for years, and it's a wonderful tradition. You bloody pervert. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If this was a test, this was a game. If they can get their people to go along with this, they'll get them to go along with anything. So it's as disgusting and wrong as that Drag Time Story Hour is, there's a lot worse coming behind it. Be right back.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in.
Well, it's J.D. Vance speaking some pretty significant truth. You know, you can love Israel and support the state of Israel and still have beef with some of the commentary coming from Israel right now, some of the criticism of President Trump and Vice President Vance. I can't believe how much vitriol, how much flack J.D. Vance is getting from major newspapers in Israel, from major people here who also support Israel. Like, you can't point this thing out. I mean, look, everybody knows that Israel right now is very upset about what we're doing. I'm sorry, we can't, what does anybody have in mind? We can't continue this indefinitely. We got rid of the nukes. No more nukes, no more ballistic. I see no reason to continue bombing or whatever. What are we bombing? We have nothing left to bomb. Now, if we really wanted to, we could, I guess, stop their drinking water and stop their oil, right? But that was never the intent. I'm quite frankly not comfortable with that. I'd only be comfortable with that if they had a nuclear weapon and they refused to give it up. But we've gotten their nuclear. We know there's a little bit of nuclear dust. We know exactly where it is, and we're not letting anybody do anything with it except us, and we will get to it. So what else do you want? I want peace. And if Iran joins the community of nations again, fantastic for them. We're not sending them American money. We are unfreezing the assets with their compliance in all of this. They don't start the nuclear. They get their own money back. People don't realize that, imagine you put money in the bank and the banks kept it from you because they didn't like what you were doing or whatever. It's kind of what we're doing here, and I think we're totally justified in doing it. Ronald Reagan released funds to Iran after the hostage crisis, immediately after he took office. All right? Ronald Reagan, Bill Cassidy ripping on Trump. You guys are jealous of him. I know it. You are jealous. Very ugly.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, we are joined by the political legend Roger Stone, also sartorial master, right? Sartorial, fancy for anything clothes related. Roger Stone, who are you wearing right now? That's what they say, the fashionistas say. Who are you wearing?
Well, I'm wearing myself. I'm wearing a custom-made suit from the Roger Stone custom menswear line, my new spring-summer line. You can go to rogerstonesuits.com, rogerstonesuits.com. Right now I'm wearing a single-breasted cream linen suit, a button-down blue and white striped shirt. Since it's Friday, the button-down is acceptable, a blue and pink striped bow tie, and an incredible pair of brown and white nubuck spectators. And since I'm trapped at Reagan National Airport for the 4th hour of my delay, I'm definitely the best dressed person in this airport.
Well, a couple of things. What are spectators, number one?
Spectators are those two-tone shoes you've seen. They were originally designed for outdoor wear. The British, I think, actually called them by another name. But the idea, of course, was so you could wear a white shoe, but the bottom part of it is brown. That way, if you muck around in the mud for outdoors, I got a piece at stoneswank.com just on Spectator shoes. You've seen them. They're brown and white, and you can only wear them between Labor Day and Memorial Day.
And one other
Memorial Day and Labor Day.
Memorial Day, Labor Day. What about the bow tie? Who can Who can wear a bow tie? Bow ties, let's face it, that's you got to go out of your way to wear a bow tie. Why do you wear the bow tie? Why do people wear bow ties still?
Well, first of all, it's impossible to spill soup on them. That's one good reason. Secondarily, I'm kind of in a tradition here with Daniel Patrick Moynihan, among others. I think it's kind of it's a natty look for the weekend. I never wear them other than on a Friday, or of course when I'm going to a formal event. And the key thing is you have to tie your own. Now it's the same as tying your shoe, but you don't want it to be too perfect. You want it to be very slightly askew. That way everybody realizes it isn't a clip-on or one of those pre-tied bow ties that you tied it yourself.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's a cool little touch. Hey, Tulsi Gabbard really, she's no longer the DNI, but what a way to leave. She put out that video about Dr. Fauci. She declassified more stuff. Your thoughts on her departure and how she departed?
Well, first of all, I saw her yesterday. I'm in Washington. Saw her yesterday at about 4 o'clock. Ran into her in the hallway in the old executive office building. I knew it was her last day on the job. And she gave me a big embrace. We're very good friends. I was a strong advocate for her appointment to that position. I think it is a tragedy that she has to leave, but her husband is truly, truly ill. Hopefully he'll recover, but he could be fatally ill. I mean, extraordinarily ill. And she had to make a tough choice between power and family. And in my view, I would respect her less if she'd chosen power. That said, she's in a constant struggle. So at the end of the day, Greg, she told me on her way out the door, she wanted to declassify the documents about the fact that Dr. Anthony Fauci lied under oath to the U.S. Senate, that he absolutely knew that your tax dollars and mine paid for the weaponization of the COVID-19 virus in a Wuhan Chinese lab. She was not sure. It's about 4 o'clock. She wasn't sure that the Central Intelligence Agency was going to allow her to put it out because they evidently also have sign-off. And, of course, about 2 hours later, she did release that. Now, it's the same woman who proved definitively that Russia was a hoax directed by Barack Obama. Same woman who demonstrated that the first and second Trump impeachments were both frauds. The second one to cover up the actual crimes of Joe Biden in Ukraine. She also cut off the security clearances for 37 of the 51 so-called intelligence agents who insisted that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation, which, of course, we now know was all 100% authentic. So to me, she is a true American hero. As you know, she's also a combat veteran, decorated combat veteran, serving in Afghanistan, still a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve. Plus, she's just a great, sure-footed, very confident, very precise, yet I think extremely charismatic political figure. In other words, I've never heard her say anything, no matter how fantastic or incredible, that she couldn't back up with solid evidence. And the great tragedy is she never got to the 2020 election. As soon as she started following the president's directive to look into the security, integrity of these electronic voting machines, as well as the so-called mail-in paper ballots, that is when, according to the great Catherine Herridge, the CIA started surveilling the director of national intelligence, started watching her computer, watching her phone, watching her text messages, not just her, but everyone who worked for her. So just put that in context. One of our intelligence agencies was spying on another one of our intelligence agencies because there's some people in government who don't want that 2020 election examined, and they don't want the technology examined because I suspect they have used that voting machine technology to rig foreign elections around the globe for decades.
Well, isn't that illegal if the CIA does that or did that to Tulsi Gabbard? You can't wiretap American citizens, I believe, outside of the FISA court and or a typical judicial warrant would be required. That sounds very illegal what they did if they did that.
Sounds illegal to me too, but Greg, let me give you a hint. Assassinating John F. Kennedy was illegal too, but they did that. Removing Richard Nixon in the silent coup that they called Watergate, that was also illegal, but they did that. Trying to kill President Ronald Reagan and failing, I believe they did that. I have a book coming out soon, which I'm going to prove that. No, we have a rogue intelligence agency. And by the way, I'm not necessarily blaming the director. President Nixon once told me, speaking of Richard Helms, but he said, when you're the CIA director, either you run the agency or the agency runs you. I suspect in this case, I don't think that Radcliffe is a bad guy, but I think the agency's running him.
Yeah, that's a little trick. And the agency, you're a captive of the staff. I've seen that before. Hey, one thing though, overall, look, there's so much deep state crap that's there, and Tulsi is gone. I do hear on my side, our side, some hand wringing about, gosh, there's so much work to be done, and it doesn't look like we're going to get to it. I mean, it just doesn't. There's not much momentum to get to the 2020 election, to hold some of these people accountable. And it feels, at my low moments, it feels like the deep state is winning. Now, I love President Trump, and he did so much for this country. He did so much for us. There's only so much he can do. And, the swamp is very, very powerful. And there are a lot of people on our side who are still working for the swamp. And do you know what I mean? Should I be discouraged or encouraged or neutral?
Somewhere in the middle. First of all, we do have an acting head of ODNI. He's a bulldog named Bill Pulte. You've seen him denounced by Republicans and Democrat senators as diverse as Susan Collins of Maine and Chuck Schumer. Well, if they're against him, that's a strong reason to be for him. And he's proven his loyalty because he correctly believes that people like Letitia James, who has prosecuted many people for mortgage fraud, but when she gets caught engaging in mortgage fraud, she ought to be prosecuted just like any other average person. Unfortunately, the incoming director of national intelligence, Jay Clayton, former chairman of the SEC, he didn't agree with that. Actually, I think Letitia James could have been prosecuted for federal tax evasion. That didn't happen either. So I have some grave concerns. On the other hand, whether Bill Pulte has his job for a day or a week, I keep an eye on him. He's got a lot of guts. He's got a lot of courage, and he's completely loyal to the president.
Well, I love it. I'm impressed with him as well. I want your insight. Gavin Newsom, he went on the offense. The best defense is a good offense, accusing President Trump of coming after him and coming after his wife. I saw the wife yesterday at the Barack Obama thing, not denying anything. Neither one of them denied anything. We have it, Carlos. Listen to this.
They're just incredible role models, and their values are American values, and we need to revive those and provide hope to everybody.
We heard from the governor, but we haven't heard from you yet about this investigation. What do you want to say?
I'm just so grateful for this inspiration and leadership. We need more of this.
Hey, this is stuff that happens in other countries. That's all I'll say. Happens in other countries. Who wants to go after me, go after me.
It's nice to see both of you. Madam First Lady, it's great to see you. Thank you, Governor. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Katie, when you look around.
I sense blood in the water, and I think people are sensing that as well. Roger?
Greg, let's face it, Gavin Newsom would steal a hot stove. This guy and his wife, it appears that they have stolen hundreds of millions of dollars. The U.S. Attorney in the Central District of Los Angeles, confirmed by the Senate, a real hard-nosed prosecutor. I suspect Gavin Newsom is in deep trouble. When they say these are things that happen in other countries, what they really mean is, no, I'm a Democrat elite. You can't prosecute me, kind of like Letitia James. In other words, there's a whole separate category, say, is different than General Flynn or Roger Stone or Donald Trump. Those people can be prosecuted on trumped-up charges, pardon the expression, but these people never want to be held accountable. There are tens of millions of dollars of our tax dollars in California missing. So this isn't a politically motivated prosecution. I suspect that Gavin Newsom is some very deep kimchi, as they say.
One other thing, did you notice Barack Obama yesterday at his big library opening? There was something very odd about him. I mean, he's an odd guy, but he was unusually somber, I noticed, the cutaways and things like that. My sense is they're hot on his trail. You just said earlier that he sabotaged the presidency and the 2016 election, tried to. I think he's in deep trouble. I think he knows it. And I thought I picked up on his body language yesterday that something very bad is about to happen to him. Did you catch that?
I actually didn't see much of the proceedings. I did report on the Stone Zone last night on this very same station that, among other things, in the construction of this multi-million-dollar library, they have stiffed all of these black-owned construction firms. So, I mean, this is absolutely outrageous. This is supposed to be held up as somehow a project that was going to empower Chicago's South Side. Turns out that you have black contractors trying to stay alive, offering to settle for pennies on the dollar just to get paid something. So they are stiffing their own community. It is really one of the great disgraces of all time.
That's amazing. It's so incredible. Well, the greed of these people, the greed. Well, Roger Stone, as you go about your travels in your amazing outfit, RogerStoneSuits.com, RogerStoneSuits.com. What is a recommendation for a man? What is the most common mistake a dude makes when he's getting dressed in a suit?
Well, you would never, ever, for example, wear a button-down shirt with a double-breasted suit. That would be the only person who could ever get away with that was Fred Astaire. And Greg, you're not Fred Astaire, if you know what I mean.
What? I'll take it as
am I. Nor am I. He's the one person who could get away with that, but it's too informal a shirt for that formal a suit. So for any double-breasted suit, you could use just a spread collar, a long point collar, a Windsor collar, but you would never wear a button-down shirt with a double-breasted suit or a double-breasted blazer. That would be a common mistake.
Noted.
And then the other thing, of course, is you would never want to leave the house without a pocket square or a linen handkerchief in your breast pocket of your jacket. That would be going out like going outside naked. You would never do that.
All right. Now we're getting a little bit carried away. But Roger Stone, you can pull it all off, and so can you, folks, if you go to RogerStoneSuits.com, RogerStoneSuits.com. Oh, and by the way, I think today or tomorrow or yesterday, let's see, is 54 years ago since the Watergate break-in. 54 years ago since the Watergate break-in. We used to think about that every June. Now we don't think about it as much. It's kind of wild.
I stayed at the Watergate Hotel last night. When I was checking in, there were two guys at the desk, a young guy and an older guy. The younger guy said, yes, can I help you? I said, yes, I have a reservation. He said, your name? I said, Roger Stone. He said, have you ever been here before? The older guy just started laughing hysterically.
Oh, Roger, you are amazing. The one and only Roger Stone. To be continued, sir, and we'll be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, it is a wonderful day, despite it being Juneteenth, a phony holiday thrust upon us. Yet another day off when, quite frankly, I like taking a day off, but I don't think we deserve this day off. We get a hell of a lot of days off. People from other countries, they come here and they're amazed. I don't know how our economy, our GDP, we're the top dog economically, right? But we do take a hell of a lot of time off. Every month, we basically have a holiday. We have Martin Luther King Day in January, right? February, President's Day. March, can't think of anything. April, can't think of anything. I'll come back to those. May, we got Memorial Day. In June, we have Juneteenth. July 4th is coming, right? August is basically, for a lot of people, a blow-off month in certain ways. September, we have Labor Day. October is Columbus Day. November is Thanksgiving, and that whole week goes away. And then we have December. Don't we have anything for April? I feel like we're missing something. Is that Arbor Day? No, that's not a holiday. It's not a big holiday. Something happens. We're missing something, but that's okay. All right, got to split. Oh, there's Chuck Mangione. I mean, Luigi Mangione, the killer of the healthcare executive, is going to say he was crazy. Well, you might be crazy, but I still think he knew right from wrong, right? He knew he was doing this wrong. That's why he ran away. Yes, Rich in Connecticut. How are you?
Yeah, hi, Greg. The Juneteenth holiday should be eliminated because it's a celebration of ignorance and inaccuracy on the fact, because the last slaves to be freed were not in West Texas in June of 1865, but in the border states of Kentucky and Delaware 6 months later in December of 1865. So it's predicated on a falsehood, and it's an affront to our national July 4th National Independence Day, because Juneteenth calls itself Juneteenth National Independence Day. So it should be eliminated.
Yeah, no, it totally should be. It's a ridiculous commemoration. Crazy. And enough. You know who was talking about slavery for about 20 minutes yesterday in his speech? Barack Obama. Barack Obama, complaining about racism, twice elected president of the United States. And you know why? Because, quite frankly, he's not black enough. He's not black enough. I love this. I love this thing from his own book. Where is that book quote again? Barack Obama's book. Cut 20, please.
Almost from the start, the race was a disaster. A few weeks in, the rumblings from the Rush camp began. Obama's an outsider. He's backed by white folks. He's a Harvard elitist. And that name, is he even black?
Is he even black? Is he even black? Well, that went to his head. That's about a campaign. He was running Congress against Bobby Rush. He ran for Congress in 2000, Democrat primary, and he lost to Bobby Rush. And lost bad. And one of the reasons why he lost bad was, the black people didn't trust him. Is he even black? See how he puts on that accent? Anyway, all good points, man. Dave, hello.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
Good.
Hello. Great show as usual. And I just wanted to commend you on your weight loss program, but I happen to lost 150 pounds when I got diagnosed with diabetes.
Damn.
And the one reason I lost all that weight was my doctor, number one, and then my dog, Charlie. And him and I went for walks, and my doctor prescribed me to walk and, be a little more energetic. And it worked. And
how about that?
And yeah, I know. So maybe you should get a dog. I don't know.
Travels with Charlie. You went around with Charlie, a famous book by John Steinbeck. Travels with Charlie. He went around the country with his little dog named Charlie. Although I never got that far in the book. I got it literally, he went down the block and he ran out of gas. He had car problems right away. Back in the day, people had car problems. Now our cars always work. Thank you very much, sir. Glad you did it. There's the music. I got to get out of here. Not wishing anybody a happy Juneteenth. Ignore Juneteenth, and I'll see you later. I'm putting some videos together and back on Monday from a special location. All right? Talk then.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?